Hi, I'm Greg Grant, horticulturist with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service here in Smith County. Today we're going to talk about harvesting, collecting, and storing seed. Unfortunately, in Texas and the South, many of our best garden plants are not widely available commercially, if at all. So to grow a number of the really good plants in the South and in Texas, you need to literally save, collect your own seed, and of course share with your fellow friends and master gardeners. Right now it's springtime, so that means a lot of our cool season plants are going to seed. Think Texas bluebonnets, columbines, larkspur, poppy, that sort of thing. And so if you want to have the opportunity to share those seed or to plant in a different location, you're going to need to collect and store that seed somehow. So I'm going to give you a few pointers and tips on collecting seed and how to best store those. What we're looking at right now is Texas gold columbine or golden columbine, Aquilegia chrysantha, a great Texas native plant, rarely available commercially in the trade. The seed's not available in the international trade like all other seed. Columbine that you buy commercially, seed of, is not adapted to Texas. So to have the best columbine, you literally need to collect your own seed. And so the way it works with plants, and a lot of beginning gardeners don't understand this, of course you have blooms, and then those blooms turn into seed pods, and then those seed pods have to mature and ripen seed, and then they turn brown and dry, and then that seed has to be physiologically mature. So if I pick this green pod off here, the seed's not ready to go. There's no reason to pick that pod or save it. The seed's not ready to go. But once it turns brown or starts to turn brown, and I know for a fact with columbines, you literally want it a green just turning brown and dehiscing or splitting open at the top. You can see the seed in there. Once it starts to turn brown, you pick those off carefully. You could cut them off, but in the case of columbines, they're very easy to pick off. You're going to have some collection vessel. In this case, you can have a bowl, a pot, or a pan. Sometimes directly into paper bags, or sometimes I use coffee filters for delicate little seed. And you're just going to collect as many as you can that are ripe. And so I'm not going to pick the green ones. I'm just going to go through picking those that are starting to turn brown. If they're any portion brown, they will continue to dry out. And so that's why you want to use an open container or a coffee filter. Set it at room temperature in the room. Let them finish turning brown, completely dry before you attempt to clean them and then store them. Once they get completely brown and dry, then you can fiddle with them. Every seed has kind of a little mechanism for dispersing the seed. Some things like bluebonnets pop and throw the seed. So in those cases, I put them in brown paper bag, and I'll use a clothespin or safety pin or a clothespin to hold that bag shut. In the case of columbine seed, they're not going to go anywhere, but you're going to need to turn them upside down and sort of give them a twist for that seed to fall out of there. And once the seed's completely dry, then you're going to store them in plastic bags or jars or containers. I often use Ziploc bags. It can be any size Ziploc bag based on the amount of seed that you have. And so it's really important that you label the outside of the bag. I use a industrial strength Sharpie, which still won't last for years and years. And so you always also label the inside of the bag. And so if you're like me and you've got freezers full of seed that's 10, 20, and 30 years old, and the writing is gone out here, then you have to be a really good horticulturist to say, what kind of seed in this and where did I get it? So label the outside, label the inside, and then you're going to want to store them dry and cold. Now, dry and humid, dry and warm, like the desert, is okay, not ideal. Uh, Cold and wet is okay, not ideal. Hot, muggy, and humid is awful. So if you're going to put them in your patio or shed, they're not going to last very long at all. Ideal situation, keep them dry, put them in the freezer or the refrigerator, and they're going to last a lot of time for years or even decades, sometimes multiple decades. So cold and dry is best, low humidity, label inside, label outside, make sure they're completely dry, and then pull them out at the appropriate time of year to plant them, share them, scatter them wherever you're going to want more of those plants. So today we did columbines, but this could be bluebonnets, could be poppies, could be larkspur. And of course, later in the fall, we're doing a whole different crop of seed, the warm season annuals and perennials.